welcome to what I hope you will agree is going to be a massive celebration for how far Sunderland has come in the last 2 years. We got close but no cigar last night, but what we felt when we came out of, well actually we went into the panel meeting first thing in the morning yesterday, and I'm not kidding you, we were absolutely grilled for nearly 2 hours. We felt wrung out when we got out. But you know, we were consoling ourselves with the idea that, well, at least they were taking us seriously. We felt that they were being so detailed and so forensic in the questions that they were asking us that we felt we were being taken very, very, very seriously. And then, of course, you know what happened. The minister pulled the wrong name out of the and you know, we talked to some of the judges. We talked to the guy who was leading on behalf of DCMS, and it became clear that it was incredibly close between us and Coventry. I don't think it's common knowledge, but it was a split vote in the end. So we literally came that close. And the thing that really sustained us yesterday, in those sort of hours after the decision, was partly the free bar that Hull put out. And it was mostly actually the outpouring of support and messages of goodwill that were coming out of Sunderland. It was absolutely extraordinary. And when we saw the footage of everybody who was in pop recs applauding Coventry, it kind of made us feel like really humbled and brought a tear to our eyes. So thank you so much for the support, not just last night, but for the last 2 years. We always said that, win or lose, this would be an incredible turning point for Sunderland, and that, you know, given the title City of Culture, would make it a bit quicker to get to where we want to be. But you know, I hope you believe me when I say that the team that have been involved in putting this together with your help and your support, that team is going to deliver it anyway. And you know, fasten your seatbelts, as I said to Jay yesterday. There's a lot more to come.
Championships, guys.
So just a few very, very quick thank yous. Obviously we can't name everyone because we'll be here all night, but I would like to thank in particular Sunderland City Council, who have been absolutely phenomenal in their support. Irene was on the panel yesterday with the judges, and she completely slayed them, as you might imagine. I'd like to thank the university, who've been really, really supportive, but also the college, the bid, the business group. You know, the list is endless. And I'd particularly like to, I know Simon's here tonight, I'd particularly like to say thank you to the media. The media have been fantastic. I mean, did everyone see We Are Still Sitting on the front page of the Sunderland Echo? We saw that last night, and it made us feel really, really proud. So thanks to them, thanks to the amazing steering group, 2021 steering group, some of who are here tonight, the Sunderland Culture Company, who've been a magnificent support. But most of all, I'd like to say, you know, thank you doesn't seem the right word really, but I'd like to say a big thank you to the Sunderland 2021 team, led by the brilliant Rebecca. been amazing, and I said I wouldn't leave and hand the microphone to Rebecca by saying anything nice about her. But you know, she's amazing. We love her, and I'd like you to welcome the bid director for Sunderland 2021, Rebecca Ball.
Thank you everybody, and thank you so much for coming. It means so much that everybody is here on this day to celebrate what has happened in the city. I think parties are generally best kept for music and dancing, so I'm going to keep this pretty short. But I think obviously we didn't get the result that we dreamed of, but as an exercise in collective endeavour, in spirit and in sheer bloody mindedness, I think Sunderland did itself extremely proud. Over the last 2 years, there have been literally hundreds of moments when you, the people in this room, have left the bid team completely gobsmacked by the things that you have done, by your support, your generosity, acts of kind of kindness and brilliance that have just been amazing. Ideas, events, messages, articles, statements, film interviews, cakes. It's just been brilliant, and you know, we can't thank you enough for that. We would like to list all of those acts individually, but you know, that would eat into the dancing, so that's too much. But essentially, to all the amazing businesses that have backed us, thank you so much. To our dear, dear colleagues in Sunderland City Council, at the University of Sunderland and at the Mac Trust, who have gone beyond and again and again and again and have just put their heart and soul into this in a way that you just wouldn't believe. To all of our politicians, you are an extraordinary force for good in this city, all of you, and we have made something brilliant happen here. We are a citywide team and a brilliant citywide team, but I did want to say a special thank you to the amazing bid team, for the people who this has been their day job, essentially. Hannah, Chris, Richard, Helen, Keith, Rachel, Laura, Rob, Louise and Bryn. You've just been awesome all the way through. And just finally, Courage tweeted a GIF yesterday that said, Sunderland, City of Culture, every year. Yes. And we are. This is just the beginning. We are unstoppable. And our best days are definitely still to come. The good thing is now we don't have to wait till 2021. Yes. I'm now going to hand over to Graham, the brilliant Graham.
Rebecca, everyone. So we just got two short speeches to go before we invite Frankie on the stage, and I'd like to invite to one of our drinking colleagues from last night. He came down with us for the announcement to Hull. He was a fantastic support when we eventually got back to the hotel, and he was amazing in, you know, sort of cheering us on after the dreaded envelope opening. He is the deputy leader of Sunderland City Council, Councillor Harry Truman.
Thank you very much. When I first came into politics about 23 years ago, an elder said to me, I'm a man of few words, so my speeches won't take long. An hour and a half later, we're still talking, so I'm not going to keep it that long, to be honest. I had the pleasure and the honour of being down in Hull with an absolutely fantastic team last night. Absolutely. And I don't know whether many of you are aware, we actually did win. We did, honestly. And we won when we actually were announced that we were in the last 5. We actually won then. And that was down to the passion and the dedication that the team that I was with last night was unbelievable. If I could put red and white strips onto those people, we were absolutely fantastic.
Even you. Even you.
You know, I've got to pass the thanks of the City Council, and I'm sure all of the members. I see Peter sitting there, our opposition member. We've only 2 members with us tonight. Honestly, from my heart personally, thank you very much, team. And from the City Council members, the officers who were involved, and the officers who put a lot of time in to help, thank you very much to all of you. And as it's been said, this is not the end. Sunderland is on the up. Just go out there and see the queues that are now forming to get into some of the bars.
Significantly short of the
mention Paul over there. Absolutely thank you, Paul, for all you've done, what you'll continue to do. And one gentleman who I really miss, Paul Watson, our past leader, who had the passion that this team had for Sunderland. Thank you very much, and all the very best for the future.
So drinking is becoming a theme of the evening. We had some amazing messages last night from friends in the Arts Council, in Heritage Lottery, Lord Putnam, and also from the Managing Director of the Royal Philharmonic. Lots of people who have almost like become unlikely friends of Sunderland. And they were sending personal notes to us, basically saying, "Look, this isn't over. We really, really want Sunderland to achieve what it has set out to achieve, and we will back you and support you as you do that." And that was a fantastic thing to get in the darkest hours of last night. But as Harry has said, I'm going to leave the last word to one of our colleagues who has been one of really the catalyst for a lot of the change that we've seen in Sunderland, particularly here in what is now well known as the MAC Quarter, the Music, Arts and Culture Trust Quarter. He is unstoppable. He has more energy than Tigger. He is, of course, Paul Callahan.
Thanks, Graham. To be honest, this has been one of the best experiences of my life. Working with these people, working with all of you, has been such a joy. What you're getting here is years where we seem to have lost our hope, and suddenly that hope is being rekindled. And I had to give a presentation to the judges yesterday, and I said I thought this started about 5 or 6 years ago, and I actually quoted the documentary that Grayson Perry made, The Vanity of the Small Differences. It was called All in the Best Possible Taste. And he'd chosen Sunderland as the city that would exemplify working class culture. And you know, I sat there, we were waiting to see it on Channel 4, 10 o'clock on Channel 4. And you know what Channel 4 documentaries are like. And I'm dreading it, I'm absolutely dreading it. because what was thought was going to be sort of metrocentric, patronising, northern chavs, you know, sort of cultural benefit street, you know, that was what I was expecting. And yet it was warm, it was kind, it got us. He got us. And it was really for us at a time when we were just really starting to flex our muscles. On the back of that, we took his story, he based the whole of the 3 programmes on the Rake's Progress. And it was supposed to be a young man who grew up in Sunderland, born and grew up in Sunderland, and then left the city and ended up going into a middle-class area in Surrey, then go to the Cotswolds, the upper class, and then he dies. And we pitched to the Arts Council for the Creative People and Places programme, and we used that as our story. We said if Sunderland had a real cultural vibrancy, he would have never left. He would have never left, he would have stayed here. And that was the whole thing. We wanted people who were born in Sunderland to stay here, people who come to Sunderland to stay here, people who visit here to come back. And that was what was one of the sort of the drivers, that 2012. And lots of other things were happening. We pitched to the Arts Council, and Nicholas, I know, is here. Nicholas has been a fantastic supporter for us. He was actually on the panel. We've got the Future Heads lads, and I'm only going to mention 2 people. I'm going to mention Rebecca later on, but I'm going to mention Ross Millard. The reason I'm going to mention Ross Millard because I did a speech a fortnight ago in the fire station, and I mentioned all of the Max Rush, and I forgot the rest. So I might mention Ross a few times just to try and make up for it. They came and you know, they came and did the video for us, and we wanted the Arts Council got us. And we suddenly got a cultural spring, and we were starting to get sort of quite excited by this. The next thing, through Graham's connections, we've got the BBC up who are doing the Great North Passion. 1 million people watching us on the telly. I'm eating hamburgers, me and Ross eating hamburgers with Sir Tony Hall, using our fingers. Do you remember that? It was like, wow, this is amazing. And Pop Rex started, you know, you could start to feel the buzz, the lads were getting it happening. And we sort of just pushed on from there. We decided one night that we would try and create the Mac Quarter. And we were looking for somewhere. We decided we'd try and do the fire station. Everybody laughed. I remember the echo. Is Kevin here now? Kevin Clark here now? No, he said, Kevin ran a story which he shouldn't really have done, but it was like, oh, that's great, we're going to have this thing. And this was way before we ever got anywhere with it. And it was really cool. You know, you shouldn't start telling people. Sunderland sometimes has a history of over-promising, yeah, telling people you're going to do things and then don't do it. And we're going, oh, don't tell anybody yet, wait till I get the money. And so we then went and started to pitch the money. And the story of these days is, when we used to have the RDA, and Margaret's here, who was chair of the RDA before me, you used to do big projects. You'd write a cheque for 30 million, not in one fell swoop, but you essentially do it over 4 or 5 years. These days, if you're going to do anything, you've got to go and get it in bits. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You've got to go and fund every little bit. And we knew we had to do that. We knew how to build the infrastructure. And it's starting to happen. We've got the money for the auditorium coming. You're going to see all this happening. But it doesn't work without people. And so we started to appoint people. And I remember the day we were interviewing for the director of the Cultural Spring, we had 6 people lined up, and Rebecca came in first. And she blew us away. We're like, wow! We could have stopped the interview then. The other 5 people needn't have turned up because she'd gotten the job. And she's been incredible. And when we decided who was going to lead this bid, she was the obvious person. She's been absolutely astonishing. Astonishing. I can't praise her high enough without embarrassing her. But from that, we saw things like the Cultural Spring taking off, Ross Millard, running some streets, and it was absolutely fantastic. And then we decided we were going to launch the City of Culture. People, people said, you're mad, Sunderland can't go for the City of Culture. So we had a lot of persuasion to do. And Harry's already paid tribute to Paul. I remember sitting in Paul's office and pitching this idea to him. pitching this idea that we should run for the City of Culture. Because it's high risk. If you get it wrong, you get a lot of flack. You know, the actual comments section is not there. and Paul got it. He got it. And he said, I'll back you politically, I'll back you financially. Go and do it. And so we put together that team. We brought Keith in. We brought Helen. I'm not going to go through everybody because there's too many people, and I'll forget like I did with Ross.
Right in the back.
But we did get Frank in the Heartstrings to launch it on there. And who was the rhythm guitarist? Ross! I'm making up for last week, Ross. I didn't even take offence. He's such a nice lad. Anyway, just a little bit about the last few months. As Harry very rightly said, to get into the last 5 was like getting into the cup final. And we were sitting there, we didn't know how to explain to people that we'd actually got into the shortlist. And they were having an advisory committee, and Ben Phillips from the Empire was sitting there and said, if we say we've got to the shortlist, people think we've won it. And Ben says, just tell them we're in judges' houses. And I was the only one who didn't understand. What judges' houses? What's this about? So we're in judges' houses, and that's when the morale of the city seemed to turn. We suddenly seemed to be getting a momentum. You know, it was absolutely incredible. And you know, we didn't win last night, but we've won in the long term because we've changed the hearts, the minds, the perceptions. I said in the speech to the Arts Council, Sunderland is on the cusp of between hope and belief. And I think we've crossed that cusp. People are starting to believe that this actually is going to happen and this city is going to change. And we're not going to tell you what we're going to do yet. We're going to let Christmas get out of the way. And then we're going to come back next year and you're going to see some amazing things. We're going to do some of the stuff ourselves. We're going to bring some of the friends in that we've talked about. We're going to get some of the funding from the people who were so kind to us last night with emails. Not checks, but just emails. But they will follow up. They will give us the support financially, politically, morally. And this is really, I hear this, we're on a journey. You know what I mean? Well, this is not a one-off, one-year thing. It's always got to be, it's always been 10, 15 years to change the city. And we're really just 4 or 5 into that 15. And we've got another 6 or 7 to go. And you're all here for the ride. You know, used to read Niall's Magic Carpet Ride? It's Rebecca's Magic Carpet Ride. It's actually Ross's Magic Carpet Now, thanks for the late comers and so on. Good to see you all. You know, one of the things that struck us this week was the support that we saw on social media. DCMS told us this morning. The DCMS team said, by far you won it on social media. On Tuesday, which was Sunderland's Day, Sunderland was trending on Twitter for 6 hours, nationally. Trending on Twitter for 6 hours. And you know, that was because people were proud of their city and wanted to show it off and tell people. And we've now got past that, except I'd like to trend again tonight, right? Now, how are we going, how this, you know, this band of brothers, this small group here, how are we going to trend? Well, what I want you to do, before we actually let the band on, is I'm going to ask you to actually get your phones out and video yourselves, and then put it onto Twitter with the hashtag Welcome to Sunderland, Sunderland 2021. And what we're going to do is, and I'm sorry those of you who are sitting down, you're going to have to stand up because I'm actually going to get you to do the actions to a song. I've only ever appeared on the stage. No,
I'll give you right to you.
Names of famous Sunderland managers. Brendan Jews. No, I want you to get your phones out and video what's going to happen in this next 4 or 5 minutes. Then put it on social media. Put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, put it on some of those ones that the young ones use that I don't even know the names of. And I hope this is going to work. But as I said, I want to do this on the stage of the sage. I did it for charity. So, can you all get your phones out? Can you all get your phones out and can you stand up, please?
Stand up. Oh, we stand up? So, do it. With your phone, is that Chris, I'm doing it. Don't Davis, don't die. 2020. No, I'm lying, no lie. Just film. So, I'm going to say,